good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D Bar, and we're here to discuss the Federation. I don't know if I can consider this company wrestling anymore, so I don't know if I should be using, the term as wrestling, because honestly, I think back to niggas like Arn Anderson, I think back to niggas like the Great Muta and fucking Ricky the Steamboat. It's not connecting. I don't know, chat. It's not really connecting right now, okay? We're going to get into Summerslam for August 1st and August 2nd, night 1 and night 2, but it was one of those shows that it really needed a lot of foundational work. It really needed a lot of infrastructure going into it. And the fact that they didn't pull any triggers, that they didn't make any switches on who should be heel, who should be face. They didn't want to tell any actual stories. They didn't want to, they didn't want to finish off any, ongoing feuds to kind of restart the clock, if you would, Dr. Manhattan style. I really do want to understand how they go into every single pay-per-view just shitting themselves. It's like every single one at this point, they make some harebrained decision that the most idiotic person in the world wouldn't have called.
No, sir, not me.
That Danhausen match, what was that, night 2? Okay, we're not gonna be a non-chronological, right? Some of these matches, including the Danhausen match, those are Raw matches. Those are SmackDown matches. Nigga, you pull this shit out of your ass for SummerSlam just to get the 2-night, basically it's like the 2-night money glitch, right? So they can generate twice as much as money, right, for the same quality card. And it's a shame because if you look at some of the wrestling on night 2 compared to night 1, it's better. But then you look at the actual booking and everything that goes into it, and I'm just like, okay, now we're at a fucking stalemate. Now we're at a stone wall again. As much as triple frauder, triple neck, triple baldy, as much as he doesn't want the fans to, actually engage with the product, unfortunately, the curtain, there is no more curtain with kayfabe. Kayfabe is gone. Kayfabe will remain gone.
These guys are liars, and they'll tell you anything to be the guy.
But, maybe the rest of time, maybe in about 100 or so years, when the Federation is long and dead and everyone's forgotten about it, maybe then we can get back to the origins of shit, and maybe we can get a little kayfabe. That's a maybe. That's like a huge maybe, chat. I'm not too sure that will ever happen. Man, everything that we get from tonight was just hard, man. But my apologies, both of these nights was just, it was difficult to sit through. And I think the most difficult part about it is they really do try so hard to come off as if they know what the fuck they're doing back there. But nobody, they can't know there's no way these guys know what the fuck they're doing. Somebody back there has to be faking it. They're literally faking it just to make it. There's no way. Liv Morgan hasn't had a title defense in 100 days. And she just wins against Io Sky. And arguably, yes, you could say that this was a match of the night. I wouldn't, if somebody was to approach me saying that this match was match of the night for night 1, I wouldn't be opposed to it. It's a very good match. It's a very good match. Unfortunately, Liv Morgan is in the exact same caliber of Rhea when it comes to protected talent. She's protected. If I want to cross the gender line, she's in the same lines as Cody Rhodes, protected. And it is what it is. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see, a talent or a wrestler who just always finds a way to just get over, all the time. No rivalries, no feuds, no kind of, internalization of everything that's going on. Nothing. And it's a shame that they want us to compare some shit like this to the NFL. Unless you're gonna sit here and release the fucking release the blackmail material on whoever you need to release it on, fucking Robert Kraft, whoever you need to release it on, that the NFL is scripted or the NBA is scripted. The Fed scripted all of this shit. AAA, fucking New Japan Pro Wrestling, it's not the same sport. So when things like this happen, when Sol Ruka is put into a rut of a title reign, when Liv Morgan is put into a rut of a title reign, people have I feel like they have the right to voice their opinions 100%. Oh man, and again, it's a good match. It's a perfectly fine match. But why is the best match on this card between two people who haven't really had a real feud? It's a shame that Stephanie Valkyrie is kind of incapacitated right now, because her and Liv's feud was kind of just built on just hatred, which for the most part worked. It worked. Unfortunately, Io's whole thing is just, hey, I've never liked because you've always been a heel. And I mean, even in that, it just seems like so surface level. It just feels like really surface level for your women's main. Like that's like one of your main women's belts. It's just, I don't know. And then so where does she go from here? Is Roxanne Perez about to go on this like a vengeful streak where I don't even know. I don't even want to pitch something like that, because the idea of Roxanne Perez getting a world title opportunity is almost 1 in a billion, 1 in a trillion, 1 in a quintillion, actually. 1 in 30 quintillions. That's the chances and the likelihood, all right, of Rox Pop's getting a fucking sniff at that world title division. Oh man, it's not good. Not good. Next match on the card, Solo LA Knight, yeah, and Powerhouse Keys. They go up against the Bloodline. This is essentially just the MFT 2.0 because they fired the Tongans, the Timma Tonga Tunga Tinga Tungan Tongan. So since they're no longer in the company, LA Knight and Royce Keys just have to fill in shoes because this company's fucking horrible. That's why. Solo's good as a face. There's nothing really to, debate on with that. He's always had pretty decent crowd control. He's pretty gifted when it comes to comedic humor also. So if they ever think that he's getting a little too over and they don't want him to be as over as he should be, whenever he wants to leave, there's always an avenue in Hollywood or anime or whatever. He is very, very comedically, physically gifted. It's fucking hilarious. So, everything that we get from this match was basically just a rehash of Bloodline lore. And unfortunately, even with somebody of the caliber of Jacob Fatu in this match, I just don't care. It's really weird how they just snuff out all that just organic momentum for what? For what? I mean, like it's kind of crazy, right? Jumping ship from AEW to the Federation, right? Royce Keys, powerhouse, a lot of momentum, a lot of hype, right? Coming into the mid card or tag team division, wherever the fuck he was gonna go, coming on to the roster, insane hype, insane momentum, right? Jacob Fatu arguably should have picked up the belt off of Roman, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, like the SummerSlam match was like, the SummerSlam match, as if this isn't the SummerSlam review. Holy. All right, we're going to get to Roman when we can, but Jacob had extreme potential in that Roman feud, and even before that, so fucking high was that ceiling for Jacob, right? So it's them paired with LA Knight, somebody who's been on the cusp of being a mega superstar in this company for like 3 straight years. Unfortunately, Triple H is just jealous. He's jealous. Like, there's no other fucking way around it. When you look at some of the booking for these guys, it's jealousy. We're going to get to this Dom segment in night 2. Like, there's no other way to define this shit. It is pure and utter envy, all right, on behalf of the doofus son-in-law, all right? And it's unfortunate that we've worked ourselves in this position, but it's the fact of the matter. He can't produce any good things creatively. He hasn't had an ounce of creativity. All right, if I have to roll the Bret Hart clip, I will. Like, I mean, what does he offer? Like, what does he offer to giving Royce Keys and LA Knight, and honestly, Jacob Fatu, what does he get from throwing them in a trios feud? And you know what? As horrible as an idea of this would be, I would give this a little bit less slack if there was at least trios belts. If there was a trios qualifying tournament that, set up a hypothetical United States Championship match, whatever you wanted to pull out of your ass and sphincter. Anything is better than just 3 randoms versus the thing that has been going on since 2020. Something that has outlived COVID. I want to ask any of you, do any of you think that a wrestling gimmick that is arguably not as over as it should be with the fans should last anything more than 2 years? A gimmick that's kind of meh with the fans? Are we joking? The biggest part of the faction is that they're all yes men to a guy who barely wrestles on the product. This product, they have talent the likes of Lyra Valkyria. Talent, as much as you hate to admit it, the likes of Raquel Rodriguez, who wrestle an insane amount of matches. Probably why they don't have a lot of ring rust and they're not so clumsy when they step in there, because all they fucking do is work. But for some reason, we put the crown on the guy who does the least work. Like, man. Oh man, I keep jumping forward. I keep using my psychonic abilities to jump into the. I have to stop. Okay, I have to stop. Next match on the card: Nick Aldis, Gunther. The biggest takeaway from this is that somewhere, all right, in those 3-piece suits and those, those sizes that are a bit too, somewhere in those 3-piece suits and those 2 sizes too small suits, there is a wrestler, in Magnus, and he definitely does the best with what he's given, but he's given like 11. It's like 11 minutes. He's given like 11 minutes, and it's so unfortunate because the rally cry was for everyone to, again, support Magnus to the point, or Magnus or whatever, to the point to where, he would win this match. And that just kind of comes off of Gunther just being like bone dry, just bone dry. Like he has nothing going for him, especially after night 2, nothing going for him into this match where he's wrestling a manager. Like the year anniversary after he just got done wrestling the commentary guy. Like, it's not good, right? So it's 11 minutes. Nick Aldis, the brawling Brit, Captain Britain, he gets some offense off. Eventually, he loses. Not surprising. Gunther hits him with a chokehold, which, then led to Magus getting a large, standing ovation, which is well deserved. But again, when you think about what this story is exactly, it's just, it just feels like it's going nowhere. And then he resigns saying, all right, I'm not wrestling anymore. This is my last wrestling match ever. So with that being said, here's my papers of resignation. I'm done with the game. The game's done with me. And Triple H ripped it up and he says, no, I support you going out there and having one last rally cry and one big push of online support and attention. That's why I'm standing next to you right here with this small 2-minute promo about the business. So Nick Aldis, again, the brawling Brit, Captain Britain, is going to be the manager and a talking head, I guess, for the creative moving forward. Any stupid decisions that creative makes will again fall on the shoulders, the big, broad British shoulders, like the big, broad British shoulders of Nicky Aldis, right? And again, this is like an 11-minute match that you give Gunther on your Summerslam card. Like that's a choice. That's a fucking choice you make. But I guess I'm just forced to digress. Unfortunately, because Cody is the ultimate company man, and again, as a wise man, Arn Anderson once said, if he had a gun pointed at his head, he would get on his knees and cower for money. And Nick and Arn Anderson, would reach for his Glock, right?
Put it on his forehead and spill his brains all over the concrete.
With me saying that, this match was very subpar. It's a subpar match. I told all of you it was fine the first time. And if you don't believe me, roll the footage.
This dream will be over. To lose to Dusty's kid.
I have no reason to lie. They've done this already. We've seen the song and dance. So why we got it again with 3 weeks to go? One of your big 4 pay-per-views. I don't know whose fucking idea this was. It was a horrible one, though. As we've spoken on, I'm not a sales guy. We're not gonna ever speak on ticket sales. We're never gonna speak on viewerships because I just feel like that's kind of not low-hanging fruit. I just feel like it's an easy target. All right, it's like picking on the 5-foot guy with glasses in a math class. All right, it's not really as it's not exactly the meat and potatoes of what I want to get into with this company. But the lack of production that goes into these matches, it leads to Punk having a moonsault. That seems like it wasn't rehearsed. If so, maybe only like 3 times max. Maybe Cody's placement was off. It goes into what I said about the Young Bucks. It's a shame that good parts of this night, because again, there are decent aspects of this night. Solo, that's a positive. Liv and Io, that's a positive. These are positives of the night. Liv retaining, not the biggest fan of that, especially with her online image being horrible. Let's see if she can convert that into something positive. I'm sorry, I shouldn't make that joke. It's not funny. But yeah, like there isn't really like a lot on this card to work with, especially when you look at the main event of Oba and Oba. In ESPN, they're doing this thing where they're just turning Oba into a bit of a mess, right? Oba is a mess. Oba has a hard time exactly fitting in this main card because because where they've put him, it doesn't exactly fit where the fans want him. The fans want him somewhere that is on the par of a Roman, on the par of an LA Knight. But for some reason, this company that, they don't want to give him that, even though that is the reception that he is getting from this crowd, right? They want him against the big dogs. And I think that they have shown that he is more than likely to handle that stature and that, honestly, I'd say that responsibility, right? I mean, they gave him the reign that they gave him in NXT, right? And it did wonders for his aura, right? It did wonders for his hype. They gave him that Cody match where everyone wanted him to win against Cody. It seems like there's a lot of chances where Oba could have already been where everyone else wants him to be. But they don't want that for Oba. They just want him in this fucking match that he already did. We did this. He did this already. So it's like, I don't know who this is for. I don't know who this benefits. It's almost like it benefits nobody. And that's what I'm kind of puzzled by. Like, what choices are made to where Oba is going up against the exact same guy that he's already went up against? Like, oh my God, it's so fucking headache inducing, especially with like some of the spots that they do, like they tear up the ring. And I'm just like, oh, okay, so they already had this predetermined. That's why Cody couldn't wrestle in this match, as in the main event, right? As the I just realized that Punk is the champion and not Cody. Oh man, that was a complete brain fart from me. Apologies on that, chat. That's why Punk and Cody couldn't wrestle in this match, right? In the main event, because they already had this. Spot, predetermined. It just, oh man, it feels like really haphazard. It feels like nobody really wanted this to be the main event, but Brock was like, it will be the main event or else. And again, we've already seen Brock fucking raise Oba's hand, clap, and start bowing to the neck. Like, we've seen it. We get it. He loves Oba. Awesome. Join the club. Like, what are we doing? This is our third match of this. I don't know. If you want to be technical, maybe our second match. I fucking guess. Man. And it sucks too, right? Because that's just night one, right? Night two, holy shit, brother. Night two starts, I wish I was joking here, yo. It starts with Sami Zayn getting fucking, like, golden shoveled, my nigga. Like, it's not even a joke. Sami Zayn and Finn Balor are supposed to have, this shades of the past, two prime and like two former major NXT components, literally two pillars of the black and gold era, right? This is just supposed to be just a good old-fashioned match. Guess what happened? Nick Aldis comes down, strutting down, completely fine after his first wrestling match in years. Strutting down, doing the Vince McMahon walk, as happy as he can be, whistling Dixie, perfect health, not a croak in his voice. He says, I've decided that since I am officially in good health now, and I can make manager choices, I'm going to fuck off a Sammy, bruv. And in me fucking over Sammy, you little wanker, I'm going to add one more schmiggo to this smaggler board. Bring him out, lads. And then Gunther comes waltzing down, the fucking Austrian Mussolini, right? He comes walking down. I don't know what kind of gear he's wearing. He's wearing like some kind of inspired gear. I want to be ignorant in saying he's wearing like a reference to Aldis's gear. Like, I really want to be ignorant and say that, though. I'm not sure. This nigga shakes hands with a guy who says he was always a 2-bit wrestler who never made it to the big times. Kayfabe is fucking dead, as I've stated. Gunther walks down and we think, okay, Gunther, Finn, Sammy, this is like an old school ROH or PWG match. Let's ring the fucking bell. And then Nick Aldis says, oi, bruvs, one more ticker. I think that this match is missing somebody who was rightfully screwed out of his title opportunity. Bring him out, lads. And then Kevin Owens comes walking down to a big pop, massive pops, Kevin Owens return. I feel the same way about the Kevin Owens return that I feel about the Haku return. I think it's cool. It's not cool. It's cool. It's just a little thin. It's a little thin. Sammy's entire thing being that the powers that be have been fucking me over and stealing things from me and trying to make me out to be the crazy guy. And then Nick Aldis literally waltzes down and fucks over Sammy with the guy who literally tried to crush his windpipe less than 24 hours ago. Literally on the previous night of this same pay-per-view. Kevin Owens returns and basically tells Sammy it's every man for himself, as he is currently fighting the fight that he was fighting previously before he got injured. And Kevin Owens and Cody wrote that story, the powers that be, right? Literally, that entire story was creative, and the producers don't want me to win, but I'm better than you, Cody, so I'm going to win. Then Cody politicked his way out of losing with a ladder match, right? Which is, quote unquote, not losing clean. Owens, again, just by the unfortunate luck of this business, he gets injured. And now Cody is just trying to carry on the rest of this title reign, when you can say that the night Kevin Owens, I guess the match stopped on, what was it? It stopped. It was like a stoppage, right? Like a match stoppage. The night he walked up that Saturday night's main event ramp with that winged title, that was the height of Owens Mania, bro. The height of it. And they squandered it. They wasted it. Now he's back, and he's completely going back on his morals and everything that he's been fighting for before his injury. And am I going to look it on its face and say, oh, yeah, no, Kevin Owens and Gunther in the same match. Woohoo. Oh, man, a fatal four-way between between four wrestling legends, right? Woohoo. This isn't, I'm not going to denounce, my love for the game when any of that, right? But I am going to be honest. I'm going to be very honest when I tell all of you, like Sammy, he looks vindicated. He looks vindicated now. Anything that he says going forward is completely vindicated. Nick Aldis walked down the ramp, fresh off of a match he lost, and gave the nigga who was disrespecting him the entire build to that match a championship opportunity. The same nigga who's just had 3 previous championship opportunities. You can't make this shit up, yo. Like, you can't make this shit up. Kevin Owens, he has Sammy eat the pin, and now we're getting Owens versus Punk, which isn't going to be a bad match. It's not going to be a bad build, but just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Does any of this like connect? Like, wholeheartedly, bro. Wholeheartedly. Let's get into the women's interim match, because Rhea wasn't going to relinquish this belt. No, because this company is scared of taking chances, and they're scared of pushing actual potential stars. So, you know what we get for this interim match? We get a here nigga damn victory. That's what it is. Chelsea wins the big one. On the post show, she dedicates this to Michael P. Hayes, plugged the 4th season of Unreal practically. That's basically what she does. And last legend, Charlotte Flair, Jade Cargill, they all just look up at Chelsea Green as your new interim champion. So basically, Rhea's going to get a cool little squash match when she's healed, whenever that is. And that's your women's main title card. Chelsea Green. And it's like, man, bro. Like, this is really fucking bad. Like, really, really fucking bad. And instead, I'm looking at the online reception to Jade and not thinking, okay, let's take a chance. Let's cultivate those talents, all right? Let's help her blossom as a worker, right? No. They don't do that. They see the build, they see the charisma, they see the potential, and they just look towards Rhea and her broken body and go, let's work with this. Yeah, they look towards Chelsea Green and her horrible public reception. Subpar in not subpar. I don't want to disrespect Chelsea. When you look at her like against other talents like Julia, like, why isn't Julia in this match? Why isn't Jordan Grace getting that opportunity that they said that she would be given after she left the little leagues? Huh? She left the little leagues, and now she's resorted to posting her fucking 100 out of 10 physique. Like, she looks phenomenal. She just has to post all of her good work on Twitter and Instagram because this company could give less of a fuck. I don't understand it. I know that Chelsea Green is going to have one of the most obnoxious title reigns of all time. She's going to get You Deserve It chance as she's a heel. She's a heel. There was a time ago where I was on the Chelsea Green bandwagon. That time has left. That time is gone. Chelsea Green is just as capable as everyone else in that locker room. There's no doubt about that. Should she be in your main card? Fuck no. And it's insane to pick anybody in that match over Charlotte Flair. when you're building towards whoever this is going to be versus Rhea, and however long it takes her to heal her fucking tinnitus. What was it her ACL, whatever the fuck it was. She is not in fighting condition. So the title should be vacated. So after it's not going to be vacated, it's going to be given to a nigga she's gonna squash. That makes sense, because of course it does, right? It's a shame. It's a fucking shame. I briefly want to touch on Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin was brought back and he took the place of Melo. That benefited fucking nobody. How they have treated Carmelo Hayes has been disgusting. He has been over, competent, and capable from last year to this year. And what does he get? Nothing. Nada. He gets excuses and he gets bullshit reasonings. Oh, we couldn't do Trick and Melo because Corbin's back. Corbin? Baron Corbin. Are you fucking insane? Are you fucking insane? And then here's the real kicker. He just won the title that Trick just decked out and made his own thing. So now all that hot talk I was saying about them taking Trick seriously and him having actual little weight as a champion now, all that shit's out the water. That title design's probably going to get buried next SmackDown. Not joking. It breaks the mind, man. It breaks the mind. Melo has been he's been left off of 2 massive pay-per-views. And as a result, you put his most checkered feud, his most checkered past with Baron Corbin. And then to put that all in a cute little bow, let's put a nice little bow on all of this, right? It's Baron Corbin over Melo and Ela. Because Ela isn't on this card either. I'm at a loss for words, chat. I'm at a loss for words. There is nothing going on with this pay-per-view. Either nights, both are fucking horrible. They're horrible. They're horrendous. Next match on the card, Danhausen. Dominic Mysterio. Match was average. It's an average match until Danhausen gets a nut spot on the top rope and he hits a "You Are Cursed" to Mysterio Jr. And that's how Dominic lost the Human Monies match. I want to know how many Danhausen monies I have to pay a Russian mafia to get rid of Danhausen. Maybe something north of about $1 billion Danhausen monies. They do shit like this, and then they leave Carmelo Hayes off the card, and they just tell you to ignore it. How does one ignore that? How? Just walk me through it. Like I am I'm a mentally stunted child. How does one do that? You have Baron Corbin, but no Fraxium. Are there even any tag team matches other than a Bloodline for these SummerSlams? SummerSlam tag team matches? No. Because our prized possession in the Vision isn't really practicing synergy right now. It's horrible. It's just horrible, chat. It's horrible. These shows, and it's fucking insane, right? Because then you have a good match on here like Chad and Penta, because it's a good match. It is. Chad and Penta is a good match. But then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, why the fuck is Chad coming off of one of the biggest matches of the year to win a mid-card belt? That's fucking stupid. It's stupid. It's dumb. It is. Sammy and Chad were right there, but no. Because Chad isn't on SmackDown. That'll be the intelligent choice. And the main belt, the title belt, isn't on Raw. No, because that would be stupid. So Chad, after one of the biggest matches of the year, fuck the company, the year, gets a mid-card belt that I'd say he outgrew the second he and Ludwig locked up in a Mexico arena, Mexico. I don't want to be disrespectful, but and oh my gosh, yo, and then they have this nigga celebrating as he, finally gets his quote unquote big one. Give me a fucking break, right? After he wins this mid-card belt, after being one of the biggest things of the past, fucking century in luchador wrestling, a fucking mug beer, salesman comes out, and it's like, here, drink some mug root beer and smile at the camera. And I'm like, this nigga Triple H is so jealous, bro. Like, he's such a jealous little bitch about everything. He's jealous over Dominic Mysterio being a legacy act, just like Randy Orton, that outshined Triple H. Dominic Mysterio was on a path bigger than Triple Kirk. No questions asked. Oba, right out the gate, should have been a world champion. With the correct booking, there were opportunities laid out right in front of you. That whole, all right, what do you do next? What do you do next? There's a fucking, there's a roadmap for somebody like Oba. There's potential in that locker room for amazing feuds with this younger with these younger acts. But instead, we get Chad Gable getting the fucking the root beer shovel, which is like, what the fuck's up with that? I gotta look at our main event in Seth and Roman. Seth and Roman's your main event. Cody couldn't main event. Why? Yeah, because you can't pull the trigger. That's why. Roman and Seth, they just dick around. I'm not even joking. It's literally the meme.
Shield chair.
This is that shield chair. The camera angle and everything.
He's got the same chair. He gets in the ring and he hits Seth in the back with it, and Seth falls shield style.
And I'm not even being like fucking funny, bro. They do shield bombs. Roman picks up the shield chair, throws it down. That was kind of cool, I guess, right? Seth comes down with the shield song. He has the shield mask. I mean, they switch finishers, I guess. Seth's spear could have used a lot of work. Roman hits a Mox DDT. They both kind of, grappled and kind of wrestled for who was going to do the DDT first. That was kind of cool. Like, there are cool parts. Genuinely, wholeheartedly, there are cool parts to this match. It's not all that bad. And then you get the ending where these niggas basically they milk it. They milk it like they treat this shit like Hood fucking Farms. They milk the fuck out of the Shield thing. Because unfortunately, Mox, after he left the, contract of the Federation, he went on to be Japan's biggest wrestler. And then he came back to the States to be one of the States' biggest wrestlers. It's kind of how that works. It's kind of how that works. So, a lot of allusions to Ambrose and Mox. And I don't know. I doubt he's going to get wind of this because he doesn't have an internet. He's not going to come back. Like, it's not like that. Neither him or Mercedes, just due to how they were treated, are going to come back. It's just not going to happen. And I kind of feel bad for a lot of the Fedrones because I think they, like, deep down, they really do want them to come back by some way or some means. And I will acknowledge me. There are decent aspects of this match. Like, Roman definitely puts his big boy pants on. Seth, for the most part, he moves at a pretty okay pace. He moves like a nigga who wants to win the match. There's a moment where he races to the top rope to hit a super stomp, and I'm like, there's a little hustle. There's a little fucking initiative. I like to see it, right? But them milking this Shield lore shit, man, I'll be honest, not for me. Not for me, chat. It wasn't for me at all. I think it didn't land. It didn't land. And I think, again, one of the biggest things I can take away is it doesn't have that same purpose that I genuinely feel that Moxley and that Hangman expressed. Last year's All In. I don't think it has the same kind of intensity that Ospreay and Kenny are expressing right now. Look, we have seen very good feuds. Hell, I'll even look a little bit down the dial and Chad Gable and Ludwig Kaiser. That was a good feud. I don't feel like these niggas care that much. I feel like this is like a contractual obligation. I watch some of my old videos, and you know what I think this shit's like? This is like the Drake contract. If this nigga Roman shows up to every Raw, won't wrestle. He shows up to pay-per-views. He only wrestles the matches he really wants to. Because I guarantee you there's an opportunity to postpone this Oba and Brock thing till maybe all the way to Saudi. Like, there was a way to just not give us Brock and Oba 3 because it did nothing for anyone. It was quite literally the exact same match we seen with a fucking with a wooden board spot and a Hell in a Cell cage. That was it. Like, Roman is playing such a high level of politic right now that matches that should be happening just on the whim of, the booking having to have some end point eventually. And he just weasels his way out of everything. It feels like a fucking contract dispute every time he steps between those. Ropes. SummerSlam was a stinker, man. SummerSlam was bad. There's a lot of bad things about SummerSlam, unfortunately, and it sucks that that's where we are. But you have to look at the production. You have to look at the booking, the creative. You have to look at the talent that they have in that locker room. What do they utilize? Who do they care about? Who do they want to push? Unfortunately, none of the people that they should be pushing are getting pushed. So that was pretty much everything that I have for night 1, night 2, August 1st and August 2nd, 2026. Summer slop, summer scam, summer sham, all right? Summer shit show, all right? That's what I like to call this. It was pretty fucking horrible. But, as I always say, right, could genuinely always be so much worse. So, I want all of you to, stick around for the rest of the week. A lot of other stuff going up. Not to forget our Dynamite, but, a little bit of SmackDown, a little bit of Collision, all right? Gonna throw in a little bit of Raw in there somewhere. Don't know where, because it's gonna be the shits, but, I'll feed you guys accordingly, all right? Guarantee. All right, that was pretty much everything that your boy had. So, as I always say, all right, I hope all of you stay hydrated, stay healthy, however you catch this, whenever you catch this, and stay tuned, stay safe, stay beautiful. Peace.